There is the current trend where the legislature, through the committees, has exceeded her powers in many respects in matters of oversight and has descended into the arena of the executive, seeking to encroach on functions of the executive, going beyond oversight to exercise of powers beyond constitutional limitations. Do I have witnesses? Are these issues that you reporters are concerned? From out there, I am concerned. We are concerned because the legislators have gone, in course of their oversight, outside what is oversight. They have descended onto the arena of the administration. They have descended into the arena of the administration. Therefore, the job of the parliamentary reporting is perhaps to give precedence, draw the attention to precedence, because you are also our teacher. You are also our teacher. You are teachers to the incoming. What you report, what it was, as it were, becomes a lesson as they have come. Now, there is the current trend where, and in many cases, they go into matters of private companies and citizens beyond their remit. The case of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association protesting through an open letter to the President and the National Assembly, published 2 days ago, that is on September 8, 2025, on page 15 of this day's newspaper, speaks to the subject as I quote. Please, I have it here, but permit me to quote from the newspaper what they have protested, and I have agreed with the content of this. I have agreed with what I want to read. It is, I take it as my position of what the law is. Some days ago, on 22nd of August, I celebrated 40 years at the bar. And so, at 40 years as a lawyer, I should know what I'm talking about. And of the 40 years, I have spent 26 years on the legislative bit. Of my 40 years at the bar, I spent 26 years on the legislature. From councillor to State House of Assembly to the National Assembly to advisory. So I should know what I'm talking about. And I read this. I read what the Nigerian Employers Association has published in their petition to the President against National Assembly, as if it were my position and as if it were my protest. The letter is open letter to the President. Save our souls. Letter to the President on the incessant invitations by various committees of the National Assembly. Now, they have read all the points there. I just take a short point. Duplication of oversight and rhetorical questions. To underscore the irrationality of the current situation, one may ask, should companies stop engaging with the ministries, departments, and agencies of government and instead deal directly with lawmakers? If the answer is in the affirmative, then it would logically follow that NDAs should be scrapped altogether, since their existence would be redundant. Such an outcome would, however, clearly be untenable in a constitutional democracy. Relevant judicial pronouncement. In DHL International Nigeria Limited versus Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2018, Honorable Justice I.L. Ojukwu unequivocally held that private companies do not fall within the category of persons contemplated by sections 88 and 89 of the 1999 Constitution. That is power to carry out investigation. You cannot do that with private companies because you do not have power to make laws over them and you don't budget for them. Similarly, in NECA and others versus Attorney General of the Federation and others, Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice J.H. Sankey of the Court of Appeal stated, there is no disputing the fact that the appellants are private companies, as averred to by them in their affidavit in support of their claim, and as acknowledged by the defendants in their various affidavits. That is the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The appellants, having been declared and acknowledged to be private companies, it has not been shown or even contended that they are vested with any power to execute or administer the laws passed by the National Assembly, or that they were charged with the responsibility of disbursing or administering monies appropriated by the National Assembly. Those powers and the responsibilities are unarguably vested in the executive arm of government and exercised through government bodies, organizations, and agencies. Thus, to that extent, I do agree with learned counsel for the appellant that contrary to the findings of the learned trial court at pages 197 of the record, the appellants do not fall within the class of any person referred to in sections 88(1)(b) of the Constitution. Given the status of this case and the parties involved, it is reasonable to expect that the committees of the National Assembly would stay further action until the Supreme Court delivers its judgment, continuing with summons and investigations while the matter is sub judice appears to disregard judicial authority and undermines respect for the rule of law. That's the position of a petition against the National Assembly. What is my submission here? You are the institutional memory for the National Assembly. You are the institutional memory for incoming and for even the bureaucracy. And you'll have to do your job beyond where you, just beyond what I would call the traditional functions. I have cited here the provisions of the Constitution as for the state of the realm. I've also cited here your powers under the Freedom of Information Act. I've made reference to the Terrorism Act in this. Now we've said that most of the, I will also say that, I've said it again, that legislators, I apologize to them, but I won't apologize because that is not how we did sometimes. They will come to debate a bill. They don't have a copy of the bill. They will come to debate a bill on amendment. You haven't looked at the principal act. You haven't looked at the section of what the law is, which is now to be amended, to see what the amendment is, to be able to speak to the yes or no, the rationality, the reasonableness or otherwise of the bill. And so you will be speaking on a matter that is not relevant to it. You don't make the legislature interesting. So as much as we talk about the parliamentary reportage, we also have to talk about what you send out from your seat on the floor. That is why sometimes what comes out, you reporters cannot report because the representative or the legislator has not, in his address, when given the floor by the Speaker or the Senate President, addressed the substance of that bill to give you news that you can get out or send out relevant to that bill. So as we talk about to the reporters, we also have to talk about to the legislators. The parliamentary reporter is the institutional memory of the legislature, and their experiences are meant to guide incoming and seasoned legislators on precedents and how not to conduct businesses either in plenary, committees, oversight hearings, and indeed diplomatic engagements involving the national